Hola, fellow travelers. Planning your Portugal vacation this year? If you're searching for the best places to visit in Portugal, from budget travel Portugal destinations to luxury Portugal holidays, you've found the perfect guide. Today, we're revealing the top 10 must-see destinations in Portugal that every traveler needs on their Portugal itinerary. Whether you're interested in Portugal solo travel, Portugal family vacation spots, or romantic getaways, this complete Portugal travel guide has you covered. Let's explore the most Instagram-worthy spots in Portugal. Starting our best Portugal destinations countdown is Porto, a city with over 2,000 years of history. Originally founded by the Romans as Portus Cale in the 1st century, Porto actually gave Portugal its name. The city flourished during the Age of Discoveries in the 15th and 16th centuries, when Portuguese explorers like Vasco da Gama and Ferdinand Magellan set sail from these very shores. Porto became famous worldwide for its fortified wine trade with England, which began in the 17th century. The iconic port wine cellars you see today in Vila Nova de Gaia were established by British merchants who discovered that adding brandy to local wines helped preserve them during long sea voyages. The stunning Ribeira district showcases medieval architecture from the 12th century, while the Dom Luís Twin Bridge, completed in 1886, was designed by a disciple of Gustave Eiffel. The magnificent São Bento station features over 20,000 hand-painted azulejo tiles, depicting Portugal's history. This UNESCO World Heritage City offers incredible Portugal food tours, featuring the famous francesinha sandwich, invented here in the 1960s. Don't miss the Livraria Lello bookstore, opened in 1906 and said to have inspired J.K. Rowling during her time teaching in Porto. Pro tip: Porto day trips are perfect for Portugal first-time visitors wanting to experience authentic Portuguese culture. Next up is Sintra, Portugal attractions, a town steeped in royal history dating back to the 12th century. The Moors first established a fortification here in the 8th century, which later became the Sintra National Palace, Portugal's best-preserved medieval royal palace. For over 500 years, from the 15th to 19th centuries, Portuguese royalty chose Sintra as their summer retreat, drawn by its cool mountain climate and mystical atmosphere. The colorful Pina Palace, Portugal, completed in 1854, represents the peak of 19th century Romantic architecture. Built by King Ferdinand II as a love letter to his wife Queen Maria II, this fairy tale castle combines Gothic, Renaissance, and Moorish architectural styles in one spectacular building. But the real mystery lies in Quinta da Regaleira, constructed between 1904-1910 by millionaire Antonio Augusto Carvalho Monteiro. This Portugal Instagram goals destination features underground tunnels, mystical symbols, and the famous Initiation Well, a spiral staircase descending 27 meters underground, used for mysterious Masonic ceremonies. Lord Byron famously called Sintra a glorious Eden in 1809, and UNESCO designated it a World Heritage Cultural Landscape in 1995. This romantic Portugal destination is perfect for Portugal couple travel and offers some of the best Portugal photography locations. Sintra travel tips: book skip-the-line Sintra tickets in advance, as over 2 million visitors explore these magical palaces each year. For adventure travel, Portugal and nature lovers. Portugal destinations, the Azores Islands. Portugal have a fascinating volcanic history spanning millions of years. These 9 islands were formed by underwater volcanic activity beginning around 8 million years ago, sitting right on the mid-Atlantic ridge where 3 tectonic plates meet. Portuguese navigator Diogo de Silves first discovered the islands in 1427, though their name remains mysterious, possibly derived from Azor, meaning goshawk, or from the Arabic alzar, meaning dice, referencing their scattered appearance across the Atlantic. The first settlers arrived in 1439 from mainland Portugal and Flanders, bringing cattle, crops, and establishing the agricultural traditions that continue today. The islands became a crucial stopping point for ships traveling between Europe and the Americas during the Age of Exploration. What makes the Azores truly unique is their geological activity, Furnace Valley on São Miguel Island has been shaped by volcanic eruptions for over 5,000 years, creating the natural hot springs and geysers you see today. The famous Sete Cidades crater lakes were formed by a massive volcanic eruption around 22,000 years ago. Today, this Portugal off-the-beaten-path destination offers whale-watching Azores. Over 20 species migrate through these waters. Azores hot springs and volcanic lakes Portugal. Perfect for Portugal ecotourism and sustainable travel Portugal. The islands are also home to Europe's only tea plantation, established in 1878. Best time to visit Azores April through October for optimal Azores outdoor activities. The Algarve, Portugal beaches don't get better than Lagos, Portugal attractions, a city with an incredible maritime legacy. Founded by the Romans around 2,000 years ago as La Cabriga, Lagos became one of the most important ports in medieval Portugal. But it was during the Age of Discoveries that Lagos truly made its mark on world history. In 1415, Prince Henry the Navigator chose Lagos as his base for organizing Portugal's maritime expeditions. From this very harbor, Portuguese explorers launched voyages that would change the world forever. Gil Eanes sailed from Lagos in 1434 to become the first European to round Cape Bojador in Africa, opening the sea route that would lead to the discovery of the Americas. The city's Igreja de Santo Antonio, built in 1707, showcases some of Portugal's most spectacular Baroque woodwork, created after the devastating 1755 earthquake that destroyed much of Lagos. The earthquake also revealed the stunning limestone cliffs and sea caves that make Ponta da Piedade de Lagos, one of Europe's most photographed coastal formations. These golden cliffs, carved by 150 million years of geological processes, rise up to 20 meters above crystal-clear waters. The famous sea caves and arches were formed by thousands of years of Atlantic waves, sculpting the soft sandstone. Lagos is ideal for Portugal beach vacation and summer holidays Portugal. Enjoy kayaking Portugal through ancient sea caves. Portugal coastal walks along the Caminho dos Promontórios and golden beaches. Portugal, like Praia Dona Ana, consistently ranked among Europe's best beaches. Lagos travel guide tip. Visit during Portugal's shoulder season, May or September, for perfect weather and fewer crowds. Coimbra. Portugal University City has over 2,000 years of continuous history. Originally founded as Eminium by the Romans in the 1st century BCE, Coimbra became one of Portugal's most important cities during the medieval period. From 1139 to 1255, it served as Portugal's first capital, making it the birthplace of the Portuguese nation. But Coimbra's greatest claim to fame came in 1290, when King Dinis founded the University of Coimbra, making it one of the oldest universities in continuous operation worldwide, older than Oxford. The university has educated some of history's most influential figures, including 6 Portuguese kings, Saint Anthony of Padua, and Nobel Prize winner Egas Moniz. The breathtaking Joanina Library, built between 1717 to 1728, houses over 250,000 ancient books and manuscripts. This Baroque masterpiece uses a unique pest control system, bats that live in the building at night and eat insects that might damage the precious books. The library's 3 floors represent different areas of knowledge, with gold leaf decorations worth millions. The university's academic traditions continue today. Students still wear black capes dating back to the 14th century, and the Fado de Coimbra, sung only by male students, differs from Lisbon's Fado, with its scholarly melancholic themes about student life and love. The Mondego River that flows through Coimbra has witnessed centuries of student serenades and romantic traditions. Every May, graduating students burn their academic ribbons in the Queima das Fitas celebration, a 150-year-old tradition marking the end of university life. This Portugal hidden gem offers authentic traditional Portugal experiences away from typical tourist destinations Portugal. Great for educational travel Portugal and Portugal history buffs interested in centuries of academic excellence. Madeira. Portugal Island has a captivating story of discovery and innovation. This volcanic island was formed around 5 million years ago by underwater volcanic activity, but remained uninhabited until Portuguese explorers João Gonçalves Zarco and Tristão Vaz Teixeira first spotted it in 1419. Legend says they saw a dark cloud on the horizon and sailed toward it. Discovering this lush paradise, they named Madeira, meaning wood in Portuguese, due to its dense forests. The first settlers in 1420 faced a monumental task. The island was completely covered in thick forest. They set controlled fires that reportedly burned for 7 years, creating the fertile soil that makes Madeira so green today. The ash from these fires mixed with volcanic soil to create perfect growing conditions for the sugarcane that made Madeira wealthy in the 15th and 16th centuries. The famous Levada walks, Madeira follow irrigation channels built over 500 years ago. These engineering marvels, totaling over 2,150 kilometers, were hand-carved by slaves and indentured servants to bring water from the rainy north to the drier south. Some levadas date back to 1461, making them older than the discovery of America. Christopher Columbus himself lived in Madeira from 1478-1484, where he married the daughter of the island's first governor. It was here he learned advanced navigation techniques and gathered information about Atlantic currents that would later help him reach the Americas. Madeira wine, created by accident, became legendary when wine barrels forgotten on ships crossing the tropics developed a unique, complex flavor from the heat and movement. This Cantero aging process is still used today. This Portugal year-round destination enjoys an eternal spring climate due to the Gulf Stream, with temperatures rarely below 15 degrees or above 25 degrees. Madeira hiking trails, Portugal island hopping, and Funchal Madeira attractions make this ideal for Portugal nature tourism. Best Madeira experiences: hiking Pico do Arieiro, 1,218 meters, exploring 500-year-old laurel forests, and Portugal's scenic drives along coastal roads carved into cliffsides. Abados. Portugal medieval town tells one of history's most romantic stories. Originally a Roman settlement called Oppidum, Abados was later occupied by the Moors in the 8th century, who built the foundation of its impressive defensive walls. But its most famous chapter began in 1210, when King Afonso II conquered the town from the Moors. In 1282, King Dinis gave Abados as a wedding gift to his beloved wife, Queen Isabel of Aragon, starting the beautiful tradition of Portuguese kings offering the town to their queens as a wedding present. For over 500 years, from 1282 to 1834, Abados belonged to Portugal's queens, who used its revenues for their personal expenses and charitable works. This Portugal castle town became known as Vila das Rainhas, Town of Queens, and each queen left her mark on its development. Queen Isabel transformed it into a cultural center, while later queens added churches, improved the castle, and supported local artisans. The magnificent walls you see today were built in the 14th century and stretch for 1.5 kilometers, completely encircling the medieval town. These fortifications successfully withstood sieges during the Portuguese Restoration Wars of the 1640s, when Portugal fought for independence from Spain. The famous ginginha liqueur, served in chocolate cups, was created here in the 17th century by a local monk named Brother José, using a secret recipe that locals still guard today. Legend says he created it to warm pilgrims visiting the Church of São Bartolomeu. Today, this charming Portugal village's destination hosts medieval festivals, literary events, Abados is a UNESCO city of literature, and Christmas markets that recreate centuries-old traditions, perfect for romantic Portugal weekend, Portugal cultural tourism, and Portugal historical attractions. A must-visit Portugal day trip from Lisbon that feels like stepping into a fairy tale. Évora, Portugal. UNESCO site has witnessed over 2,000 years of continuous civilization. Founded by the Romans around 57 BCE as Ibora Cerealis, it became an important regional capital due to its strategic location in the vast Alentejo Plains. The stunning Roman temple Portugal, dating from the 1st century CE, was dedicated to Emperor Augustus and is one of the best-preserved Roman temples in all of Iberia. After the fall of Rome, Évora was conquered by the Moors in 715 CE, who called it Yabura, and transformed it into a thriving cultural center. The Moorish influence lasted nearly 500 years, until Portuguese knight Geraldo Sempavor, Gerald the Fearless, reconquered the city in 1165 through a daring nighttime attack. But Évora's golden age came during the Portuguese Renaissance, from the 15th to 17th centuries, when it became the preferred residence of Portuguese kings. The royal palace of Évora, where Vasco da Gama received his commission to sail to India in 1497, hosted some of history's most important moments in maritime exploration. The macabre chapel of Bonas Évora, built in 1548 by a Franciscan monk named Fonte Antonio, contains the remains of over 5,000 people, mostly monks and local citizens. The famous inscription at the entrance reads, "Nos ossos que aqui estamos pelos vossos esperamos, we bones that are here, await yours." This sobering reminder of mortality was created during the Counter-Reformation to encourage spiritual reflection. The University of Évora, founded in 1559 by Cardinal Henrique, later King of Portugal, was the second university established in Portugal and became known as the Athens of Portugal for its intellectual excellence. The Jesuits ran it for over 200 years until their expulsion in 1759. This Portugal cultural destination in the Alentejo region, Portugal, offers authentic Portuguese culture, access to some of Portugal's finest wine regions. The Alentejo produces 60% of Portugal's wine, and Portugal heritage tourism. The surrounding countryside features cork oak forests that provide 50% of the world's cork. Ideal for Portugal history enthusiasts and cultural travel Portugal seeking authentic experiences. The 2, Lisbon, Portugal's vibrant capital. Lisbon. Portugal capital has an absolutely epic 2,000-year history. Founded by the Phoenicians around 1200 BCE as Alice Ubo, safe harbor, it was later conquered by the Romans who called it Olisipo. Legend claims the city was founded by Ulysses himself after the Trojan War, though historians believe the Phoenicians established this strategic port for their Mediterranean trade routes. The Moors conquered Lisbon in 714 CE, calling it Al-Ushbuna, and ruled for over 400 years until 1147, when Portugal's first king, Afonso Henriques, reconquered the city with help from Northern European crusaders. This victory was crucial in establishing Portugal as an independent nation. Lisbon became the launching pad for the Age of Discoveries. From the Belém district, Vasco da Gama departed in 1497 on his historic voyage to India, while Bartolomeu Dias, Pedro Álvares Cabral, and countless other explorers set sail to map the world. The wealth from Brazil, Africa, and Asia made Lisbon one of Europe's richest cities. Tragedy struck on November 1, 1755, when a massive 9.0 earthquake, followed by tsunami waves and fires, destroyed 90% of medieval Lisbon and killed up to 60,000 people. The Marquis of Pombal rebuilt the city with revolutionary urban planning. The Baixa district became Europe's first earthquake-resistant neighborhood, with its famous grid pattern and anti-seismic wooden structures called Gaiola Pombalina. The iconic Tram 28 Lisbon began service in 1928 and still uses vintage remodelado trams from the 1930s, climbing Lisbon's steepest hills with a system unchanged for nearly a century. The Alfama district Lisbon, one of the few neighborhoods to survive the 1755 earthquake, preserves its medieval Moorish layout of narrow, winding streets. Fado Music Portugal was born in 1820s Lisbon, emerging from the taverns and brothels of Alfama and Moraria neighborhoods. This haunting music of saudade, nostalgic longing, became Portugal's national sound and gained UNESCO recognition in 2011. This Portugal urban destination offers Lisbon food tours featuring pastéis de nata, invented in 1837 at Pastéis de Belém, Portugal nightlife in the trendy Bairro Alto district, and Lisbon photography spots from historic Lisbon viewpoints like Miradouro da Senhora do Monte, perfect for Portugal city vacation, Lisbon weekend breaks, and Portugal art and culture experiences spanning millennia. Taking our top spot, the magnificent Douro Valley Portugal wine region, with a winemaking history spanning 2,000 years. The Romans first planted vines here in the 1st century CE, recognizing the perfect combination of schist soil, steep slopes, and the Douro River's microclimate. But it was in 1756 that the Douro made world history. It became the world's first demarcated and regulated wine region, predating France's Bordeaux by over a century. The Marquis of Pombal established these boundaries to protect authentic port wine production, creating 335 stone markers called Marcos Pombalinos that still define the region today. This revolutionary quality control system inspired wine regulations worldwide and remains the foundation of modern wine law. The dramatic landscape you see today was hand-carved by generations of farmers over centuries. These terraced vineyards, called socalcos, were built without machinery. Every stone wall was placed by hand, creating over 40,000 individual vineyard plots on impossible steep slopes reaching 70-degree angles. UNESCO recognized this as a World Heritage Cultural Landscape in 2001, calling it one of humanity's most extraordinary examples of adaptation to environmental conditions. The traditional Rabelow boats that once transported port wine barrels downstream to Porto were specially designed for the Douro's dangerous rapids and rocky outcrops. These flat-bottomed boats, with their distinctive square sails and long steering oar, risked their lives navigating 23 major rapids, including the feared Cacho da Valera, Hell's Rapids, which claimed countless boats before being dynamited in 1792. Port wine itself was created by accident in the 1670s, when British merchants, during wars with France, sought alternative wine sources. They added brandy to Douro wines to preserve them during transport to England, creating the sweet, fortified wine that became Britain's favorite drink and made the Douro famous worldwide. The Douro Railway Line, completed in 1887, is considered one of the world's most scenic train journeys, requiring 34 tunnels and 30 bridges to follow the river's dramatic curves through the mountains. Today, this Portugal river cruise destination offers Douro Valley tours, Portugal vineyard visits, and Portugal wine experiences at over 250 quintas, wine estates. Perfect for luxury travel Portugal, romantic Portugal getaways, and Portugal food and wine tourism. Best Douro Valley experiences, river cruises past 2,000-year-old vineyards, quinta visits with port tastings, and Portugal's scenic railways through landscapes unchanged for centuries. That's our complete Portugal Travel Guide 2025. From budget Portugal travel to luxury Portugal experiences, these destinations offer something for every Portugal vacation planning need. Planning your trip or considering moving to Portugal? Contact Expat Utopia, subscribe for more European travel guides, and comment below. Which Portugal destination is first on your Portugal bucket list? Quick Portugal travel planning tips. Best time to visit Portugal: April-October. Portugal travel budget: from 50 to 100 plus per day. Portugal travel requirements: check visa requirements. Portugal transportation: rent a car for maximum flexibility. Don't forget to like this Portugal travel video, subscribe for more travel content, and ring that notification bell for weekly travel inspiration. Your Portugal adventure awaits. Which destination will you visit first?